Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
When people think of Iran, they often think of big talks or international rules. But there is something important many people do not know about this country. Iran should be a very rich country. It has a lot of oil and natural gas, placing it among the top countries in the world for these resources. It also has many other minerals and good farmlands. Its location on the map is very important for global trade, sitting between big continents. Furthermore, Iran has millions of young people who are smart and well educated. All these things mean Iran has great potential to be a powerful country with a strong economy. However, Iran faces many difficult problems today. Its money is losing value very quickly, making daily life harder for people. Companies from other countries do not want to invest there. Prices for food and other important goods are going up very fast, which is called high inflation. You might think that international rules, like sanctions, are the only reason for these problems. While sanctions are a big part, they are not the only reason. This book will explain what has gone wrong. We will look at Iran's great potential. We will also see how its own economic system works inside the country and who controls much of its money. We will learn about the big international rules that affect Iran from outside. We will explore why prices are so high and how the country's money is spent on things outside its borders. The main goal is to understand how Iran's economy really works and survives, facing many challenges. This book is not about political debates. It is about understanding the facts about the economy. 2. A rich country. Iran is a country with much natural wealth. Many other countries would like to have what Iran has. It has oil, gas, minerals, and good farmland. It also has mountains and rivers. Iran can reach two big seas, the Caspian Sea and the Indian Ocean. For oil, Iran has the world's third largest reserves. For gas, Iran is second in the world, just after Russia. This means Iran has a lot of energy resources underground. But Iran is not just rich in resources. It also has a big population, about 92 million people. Most of these people are young. Many are also highly educated. This large, smart group of people could help Iran grow very much and develop new industries. Iran's place on the map is also very important. It is between Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. It connects major parts of the world. For thousands of years, this location has been key. Today, it is even more important. Iran controls a very special sea passage called the Strait of Hormuz. This strait is like a gate. It is the only way to leave the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf area has almost half of the world's known oil and about 40% of its natural gas. Countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar and Iraq have much of their oil and gas near this area. Almost 20% of all oil traded around the world passes through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. If this strait ever closed, oil and gas could not leave easily. Prices for oil would go up very fast around the world. Iran sits right there, holding this important gate. On paper, Iran looks like it should be a very strong and rich country. In the early 2000s, Iran's total economy, when measured in a special way called purchasing power parity, was among the top 17 in the world. It reached about $644 billion. But now it has dropped to about the 25th position. This is a big question. Why is a country with so much potential not richer? For its size and resources, Iran's total economy is about $463 billion US. This is low for a country with 92 million people and so much wealth. Each person's share of this wealth, called GDP per capita, is about $5,300. This is less than countries like Ukraine, which is at war. It is also much less than Iran's rich neighbors in the Gulf area. This shows a big difference between Iran's potential and its real economic situation. 3. Who has the money? In Iran, much of the country's money is controlled by powerful groups, not just regular businesses. One of the most important groups is called the bonyads. These were once charity trusts. They started many years ago, even before the Iranian Revolution in 1979. Their first goal was to help poor people. After the revolution and a long war, the government made these bonyads bigger. They were meant to help soldiers who fought in the war, poor families, and the families of those who died. For some time, they did this work. But over the years, many bonyads grew very large. Today, these bonyads control about 1/5 of Iran's entire economy. There are around 100 bonyads working across the country. They own many different types of businesses. For example, they own farms that grow soybeans and cotton. They also own hotels, factories that make soft drinks, and even car companies. They also run shipping lines. These bonyads have special rules. They do not pay taxes. This is because they are still legally called charity foundations. As you know, charities usually do not pay taxes. Also, the government gives money to bonyads to help them. This is called a subsidy. They also do not have to show their money reports to the public. They only report to the country's supreme leader. This special treatment helps them grow very big and powerful. This makes it hard for new, small businesses to start. A regular person trying to open a shop has to compete with these very large groups, and these groups play by different rules. Even though bonyads are big businesses, many of them do not make money. They are often not efficient. This means they waste money or do not work in the best way. They also have too many workers. Some people have said that many of these companies lose money. If these boneyards were to close, millions of people would lose their jobs. This would cause big problems for many families. So, because so many people depend on the boneyards for work, the government finds it easier to keep things as they are. This helps to keep the country stable. It is not only the boneyards. Other strong groups also control parts of Iran's economy. The Revolutionary Guards, which are linked to the military, also have many businesses. They have similar special rules and advantages as the boneyards. Another big part of Iran's spending is on subsidies. The government spends a lot of money each year to keep prices low for things like gasoline, electricity, and bread. This helps many people, especially the poor. But it also uses a lot of money from the government's budget, which can be a problem when money is tight. In 2019, the government tried to lower these subsidies. This made gasoline prices go up and led to big protests across the country. So, like the boneyards, subsidies are not just about money. They are also about keeping peace and stability in the country. 4. The big sanctions. For many decades, Iran has faced economic sanctions. These are strong rules from countries like the United States, the United Nations, and the European Union. These rules stop Iran from doing normal business with the rest of the world. The first sanctions started after a big change in Iran in 1979. Later, more sanctions came because of Iran's nuclear program in the early 2000s. Iran said its nuclear program was for peaceful energy, but many countries believed it could lead to nuclear weapons. This belief led the international community to put more restrictions on Iran. In 2015, a big deal was made, and some sanctions were removed for a short time. This brought some hope for Iran's economy. However, in 2018, the United States left the deal and put back even heavier sanctions. As a result, Iran is now one of the most sanctioned countries in the world, alongside nations like North Korea and Russia. These sanctions have many direct impacts. First, Iran cannot sell its oil freely to other countries. Oil and natural gas are very important for Iran's income, making up about 60% of what it earns from selling things abroad. When Iran cannot sell oil easily, its whole economy gets hurt. Second, Iran cannot use big international banks to send or receive money. This makes it very hard to pay for imports or get paid for exports. Third, it is also difficult for Iran to buy important machines, airplane parts, or advanced energy technology from other countries. Foreign companies usually do not want to invest money or build factories in Iran because they cannot move money freely or export their products. Because of these restrictions, Iran sometimes sells its oil at lower prices to friendly countries, such as China, to attract buyers. Iran also uses a black market to sell oil and to buy many essential products, from electronics to medicine. But using the black market comes with high costs. It is slower, harder, and more expensive. For example, When importing medicine or a machine part, Iran often has to buy from several middlemen. Each middleman raises the price. Products may also travel through many places to avoid being caught. By the time they reach Iran, they can be late, too expensive, and sometimes even low quality. The sanctions have also forced Iran to try and be self-reliant, meaning it tries to produce things by itself. For example, Iran can build its own cars, which is impressive for a country facing such isolation. However, without access to the latest global technology and parts, most Iranian-made cars are not very good quality and can still be overpriced for the local people. This economic isolation and the difficulty of normal trade make it hard for Iran's economy to grow or for new businesses to start. 5. Life without big banks. Because of many international rules, Iran's economy works in a special way. It cannot easily use big banks around the world for trade. So, to sell its most important resource, oil, Iran often sells to countries it has friendly relations with, such as China. However, these sales are often done at a lower price. Iran sells its oil at a discount to make sure buyers are still interested, as official global markets are often closed to them. To earn money and get important goods, Iran uses a system similar to a black market. Oil is sold through hidden networks, using many middlemen and quiet deals. This means trades are unofficial and often kept secret. Iran also buys many essential products this way. For example, electronics, car parts, and even life-saving medicine often come into the country through these unofficial markets. Using this hidden system has many problems and costs. It is much slower and harder to move goods. It also makes everything more expensive. When goods are bought this way, they often pass through several middlemen before reaching Iran. Each person in this chain adds to the price. By the time products arrive, they are late, very overpriced, and sometimes not good quality. For most Iranians, there are often not many other choices to get what they need. Because foreign companies avoid investing in Iran, the country has to do many things by itself. This is called forced self-reliance. Without foreign money or new technology, Iran tries to make its own products. For example, Iran is able to build its own cars. This is impressive for a country facing so many restrictions. However, without access to the latest global technology and parts, these Iranian-made cars are often not very good quality. They are also often more expensive for people to buy compared to international models. 6. When prices go up. The value of Iran's money, called the rial, has gone down a lot. Over the last 10 years, it has lost more than 90% of its worth. For example, in 2015, $1 was worth about 30,000 rials. But by 2025, that same dollar was worth around 900,000 rials. This shows how much the rial has weakened. There are two different rates for the rial. The government has an official rate, which in 2025 was about 42,000 rials for $1. However, most people cannot use this rate. Instead, ordinary Iranians use the black market rate. On the black market, $1 can be worth over 900,000 rials. The US dollar is in very high demand there. This strong demand makes its price go up very fast. Because the numbers for the rial have become so big, people often use another word, toman, in daily talk. One toman is simply 10 rials. So, if something costs 100,000 rials, people might say it costs 10,000 toman. It is not a different type of money, just an easier way to speak about large numbers, like saying 100 grand instead of $100,000. What caused this big problem with the rial? First, international sanctions have played a big part. These sanctions made it hard for foreign investors to put money into Iran. They also reduced the world's demand for the Iranian currency. It became very difficult for Iran to sell its main sources of income, like oil and gas, on the global market. With less money coming in, the government faced budget problems. To cover these gaps, the government started printing more money. When a country prints more money without producing more goods or services, the prices of everything go up. This is called inflation. Inflation in Iran has been very high. Official rates have been over 40% each year. For everyday things like food and other basic needs, prices went up even more quickly. This means that daily life became much more expensive for everyone. People's savings lost their value quickly, making it hard to plan for the future or even buy enough food. To protect their money from losing value, people looked for other ways to keep their savings safe. Many started to buy foreign currencies like US dollars or valuable items like gold. Some also bought property or invested in the stock market. Others even put money into cryptocurrencies. People were not trying to get rich quickly. They just wanted to stop their savings from becoming worth less and less each day. This is why Iran's stock market saw fast growth even during its hardest economic years. It was not because companies were doing very well, but because people were desperate to put their money into anything other than cash. This search for safety pushed up the prices of assets like stocks and gold. 7. Spending money abroad. Iran has many costs for its economy. We have talked about some internal costs, like the money spent on subsidies to make things cheap for people. But there is another very big cost. This is the money Iran spends outside its own borders, as part of its foreign policy. The country spends many billions of dollars each year. This money goes to support allied groups and militias in other countries. This support helps Iran keep its influence in the Middle East region. These groups are often called proxy groups because they act for Iran in other places. For instance, Iran provides support to Hezbollah in Lebanon. It also helps different militias in nations like Iraq and Syria. The Houthis in Yemen receive assistance too. Also, some Palestinian groups, including Hamas, are part of this network of support. This shows how far Iran's foreign policy reaches. From the year 2012 to 2020, it is estimated that Iran spent about $16 billion to support these groups. This is a huge sum of money, especially for an economy that faces many challenges. The Iranian government believes this spending is necessary. They see it as a way to maintain their country's power and importance in the Middle East. They want to protect their interests and ensure they have friends and allies in the region. For them, this spending is about national security and regional standing. However, this spending creates a big problem at home. It has a high opportunity cost. This means that the money spent abroad could have been used for many important things inside Iran. While billions were sent outside, the domestic economy in Iran continued to struggle with high inflation and other issues. Think about what this large amount of money could do for the Iranian people. $16 billion could greatly improve the country's infrastructure. It could build new roads, better schools, or modern power plants. It could also be used to invest in new industries, creating more jobs for the large young population. Furthermore, this money could help reduce the government's budget problems and make daily life more affordable for citizens. This contrast highlights a key economic challenge for Iran. The government prioritizes its regional foreign policy goals, which require significant financial resources. Yet, at the same time, the country needs massive investment to solve its internal economic difficulties and improve the lives of its own people. This constant need to balance external influence with internal needs is a major part of Iran's economic story. 8. Conclusion. Chapter 8 looks back at Iran's economy. We have seen that Iran has great potential. It has many natural resources, like large amounts of oil and gas. Its location is very important, placed between Europe and Asia, and controls a key shipping route. Also, Iran has a large population of young, educated people. These things mean Iran should be a very rich and powerful country. However, Iran faces big problems that stop it from growing. Inside the country, powerful groups control much of the economy. These groups often do not pay taxes and are not very open about their money. This makes it hard for other businesses to grow. Outside Iran, international sanctions have caused many difficulties. These rules make it hard for Iran to sell its oil freely or use banks around the world. This means Iran's money from oil sales is much lower than it could be. Also, Iran spends a lot of money on its foreign policy, supporting groups in other nations. This money could be used to fix problems at home. Because of these challenges, Iran's economy struggles. Its money, the rial, has lost a lot of its value, making life expensive for many people. A sad result of this is called brain drain. Many smart and educated Iranians leave their home country to find better work and life abroad. This means Iran loses valuable talent and money every year. Iran clearly has everything needed to be a superpower, but it is held back by its internal economic structures, sanctions from other countries, and its spending on foreign policy. The question remains, can Iran overcome these big challenges? Will it one day use its full potential? What do you think Iran needs to do to reach its full economic potential?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.